Hello everybody and welcome back. We have episode 27 here for you. I am Waylon the Indoor Farmer, and my co-host Jeremy, who has now been on one episode, will be back next week. But this time I'm just going to do a quick little sort of an update on what's going on with the Aquaponics System at the church, which I actually haven't been to for several days, a couple weeks maybe. So I haven't heard anything, so it sounds like things are probably at least growing, and growing more so than what you'll see in the video today. But as you see, the title is a little bit funny, not really about farming. So I will explain that a little bit after the quick few minutes of the video from the church that I have. So, I mean, as you can see here, the broccoli, this is broccoli, and this is more than one time now that we've tried to grow this whole bed full of different things. And, of course, we've learned from each time, and there's definitely something wrong with it this time, for sure. A big portion of that is that we aren't using a dome, a seed tray or a little grow plug tray that has a dome over it to get these seeds to really pop, and they get the concentrated humidity and the heat and everything. The light is closer at that time. So all these things that I know of that we can fix. But the broccoli it grows fast, but then just dies and wilts. It's sitting on top of water, so you'd think it wouldn't be. But the humidity level above the water might not be good enough either. So a few more things to check as far as that goes. But you'll see further in here that, so yeah, that's looks like basil that's starting to sprout. So there's a bunch of things that look like they were sprouting pretty well, but there's a lot of empty spots. And on those empty spots, I was seeing mold, like you'll see here, which isn't good. But I'm not sure why I don't see a lot of that in my system. And I thought about it. I think it's because most of my seeds have started, and then I'm also trying to cut down on this by keeping anything covered up that's not doesn't have a grow plug in it. No exposed water, I guess, is another way to say that to the grow lights. This picture, though, however, is interesting because this is a grow tent that a lot of people use for marijuana medicines, but also you can use it for just about anything. And the tent was not being used, so I was graciously allowed to borrow it. I appreciate that. Moving on. It was not easy to put together by myself, Not that hard, but, a little bit of a struggle. You see this here, I think that's parsley. Parsley, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTubes, of the internets. Parsley, and I'm looking, can't really read what we put down, but that's okay. We actually tried a whole bunch of different things, and I bet by now some of this is going wild, so I'm gonna have to go and get a look at it. There's not much I can really do with that system right now until they start to buy some materials and get the dome, get everything else they need. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna have some stuff going on for sure. Rosemary, yeah, I saw that. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff up there, but it's not a completely dialed in system yet. And one of the reasons is that I found the sponges that you buy at the store, which we put in this bin here. We didn't put a ton, we just wanted to test them out and see what happened, because I think they'll just sink, but that will still create an area for microbacteria and your different reactive transitioning between the solids and the waste from the fish to the nitrites and nitrates of the plant that the plant wants. So you want to give it sort of a space where like a filter type of place, and this is supposed to be a filter, but I think it can be improved quite a bit. It's hard to describe at the moment, but we will, once I find a way to improve it, we'll take that video. And actually, I don't know if you saw right here, just before this clip here, where the water enters the system, I put some reflective tape over that pipe and where the water comes out, because I know that that's going to be an easy way to get more algae to grow and stuff like that. So anyway, this is just a little Basically video of the same thing that you saw. That broccoli looks sad. I thought broccoli would be like a, no-brainer in aquaponics. Maybe there's a problem with that. I don't know. While you see me meticulously showing you nothing here, I tried a different hairstyle today. It's yesterday. It looks silly, I think. I kind of feel cool with it, but kind of feel like I would make fun of myself too. So hey, I try different things, change it up. I've actually had the beard and mustache for a while, but I might come in without that sometime. It'll look funny. But you see these things struggling. I mean, these little plants would do a lot better if we put them in a dome, had them grow a couple inches in the dome, get them a little bit of flourishing going on, and then boom, put them in the system. Now I'm showing you that you can see that, the fish are still fine, of course, but there's a lot of fish food in there. I don't know if they're overfeeding, but that could be part of it. I know we had that issue at one time, but we've fixed it. There's a few people now that are all participating in this project and helping out to maintain it, so that's a good thing anyway. Well, that's actually mustard right there, but I know there's broccoli in here. Yeah, I think that's broccoli there, but they look similar evidently in the early stages. As far as mustard though, I grew a whole bunch of mustard at the last house I lived at, and of course I didn't know what to do with it, but a couple of those grow cubes, that's basil, okay. A couple of those grow cubes actually started growing mustard from like old seeds when I tried to reintroduce nutrients into the grow cube. I'd soak them in some good old fishy water and get that good stuff back in there. And a couple mustard seeds started sprouting out. And they are now the biggest mustard leaves that I've seen out of all of the... I must have had, 6 different cups of, with several seeds of mustards coming out of each one on the last system that I had before this move. And this time it's only 2 little grow cups, and they are just, enormous. So I'm going to show that off next episode. I think that's pretty fun, just because I may know more things I can do with it now. Oh, look at that! I have the hose just hanging out on some mustard. That's nice. Yeah, there's some more mold. Yeah, it's starting to mold. Some of these things are drying out, so we found that. Personally, I don't like the design of this styrofoam board, or what do you call it? The float, I guess. The float for the produce on top of the water. They are floating. They're not sitting on anything, but the hole is so small. And I've talked about this before. I'm kind of sick of going over it, but honestly, I like to be able to drop the grow cups, just drop them down in a hole that's that right size, and they're easy to pull in and out, and you can transplant no problem. These grow cubes, they disintegrate as you try to pull them out. You have them squished in there so tight, and yeah, it's just none of it. Maybe there's something else we should be doing there. Maybe those holes are for something else, but it does what it does. And I know it's been long enough that a lot of these little sproutlings that we're looking at here that actually do look somewhat healthy, those have to be looking pretty good by now, because if they made it past that difficult process of the sprouting in the early stages, typically that stuff, it thrives in this. This is, you see this water here, it's just straight up food for the plants. They love that stuff. And these are much bigger fish than I have, so there is something that changes with the nutrients levels and the ammonia and the how many nitrites versus nitrates. All that changes as you have larger fish. So it becomes you become more capable of growing things that fruiting items, tomatoes and whatnot. So that being said, that's the end of the little update there. But I had a little side thing that I decided to do. It's almost like research. I don't want to bore you with the research on the video, but I almost think that could be a good angle to talk it over with my viewers, if anyone's watching, that these are the things I'm thinking, but now let's look it up. Let's see what's going on in the world. Because I was talking to a friend last night, and I said, I like to think of ideas before I know that someone's already thought of them. So if I find out someone's already thought of this idea or that idea, that's great. Maybe they have details I can learn from. But I also like to know that I come up with it's an original idea until I find out it's already being done, honestly, in my head. So these are a couple of just pages that I searched, just a simple search. One search is for aquaponics, okay? Just aquaponics. Now this has to do with the title of the show. So when you search aquaponics, this is typically what you see. A whole bunch of awesome ideas, little, backyard setups like this. I mean, there's giant, commercial setups like this. I mean, not just that, but all different methods of doing it, on the walls, using pipes. This is amazing inspiration, and I've shown this before, a couple of episodes ago, actually. But this is where it gets funny. So I call myself the indoor farmer because I feel like growing indoors, especially in the different climates that have a big drastic changes, like, I don't mean climate change, I mean like in Illinois, for instance, we have winters that go up and down and crazy, and then you have a lot of storms in the summer. Then you have the heat points of the summer that it's so hot where you can't even water your lawn because there's a drought order or something like that. So it gets to the point where outdoors, while they get around that by doing volume during the times that they can, I understand that, but I almost feel like you could bring an assembly line, like a lot of these pictures, type of atmosphere to the farming way of life, and that's what these people are already doing. And I think it's funny because I thought of some of this stuff, and then I found out, it's already being done. So that's great, but here's the catch. So you could look at stuff like this all day, and you could become good at growing food, and you could become good at aquaponics, and you could actually go to a company, where you can purchase a system that, and I know of one up in Wisconsin. I don't have the name offhand at the moment, but I do plan to talk to them as soon as I have the kind of money that you need to buy a commercial system, because I would love to have a commercial setup and another side where I'm tinkering with repurposed materials and whatnot. But what I'm saying here is, you could buy this system from them. They will help you dial it in, and they will give you, customer support. I believe it said lifetime customer support and stuff like that, which is amazing. But that doesn't teach you a whole lot about building these things out of materials that you don't necessarily expect to put together. How do I put this? Self-sustainability is the word that I searched. Okay, I searched self-sustainability, and that's this next tab here. But you just take another quick look. It's just farming, lots of greens, lots of food, right? So I typed in self-sustainability. What do you think it looks like? Boom. So yeah, while there are plenty of other types of pictures of things that may not be directly farms, almost every picture on here it consists of a farm as well. So they are not mutually exclusive things. They, in fact, pretty much always go together. Now, here we go. Let's see, self-sufficient living. So they say self-sustainability and self-sufficiency are very similar. You see a lot of smaller designs, little home designs that people could do, like this guy here. But then you also see really complex designs that have so many other things involved in the ecosystem and the planning of this facility, I guess you could call it. It's a home, obviously, but it's more than that. It's quite a bit more than that. So you can look all down this list, and you can basically, it looks really similar. Some weird other things here, it looks like, but maybe some like energy ideas and stuff like that. But that also goes in with this too. Clearly I want to know how to be the most efficient with my energy uses, because that is one of the biggest downfalls of growing indoors. Anything, I mean, let's face it, I'm going to grow stuff outdoors too. I will grow stuff outdoors, but that's not going to be the only place. And I think with my weather systems here, it would be great to do both. In the outdoors, I don't have a whole lot of yard space. I do have plenty of indoor space, so it may turn out to be 6 one and half dozen the other, which is an old saying that means the same either way. So I think the more volume, the more places I can grow things, it's going to be better no matter what. But I will give you an update next week, I think, when Jeremy comes back, and we I think we're going to look at maybe some of the stuff that he's done. But I do want to update you guys on the aquaponics system that has, I have cucumbers and rainbow peppers growing in there, and nothing fruiting yet, of course, but I'm looking forward to the self-pollination, cycle. So I'll have to look that up, and I'll have to do some research. I mean, let me know in the comments if anyone gets to this point and you decide that you would like to see me look things up and actually point out some of the ideas that I'm talking about using visual aids. And these are all, just something that you can search for free, so it shouldn't be a, big old issue to the YouTube overlords and the rumbles of the world. But it looks like I don't know if you guys noticed, I changed a few things to the screen. I'm excited about that. I have the change in the color scheme and whatnot, but I also have I took out a few websites. I want to add some in that I can find that are worth putting my stuff on, but they don't always give you that in. A lot of these websites want you to pay in order to upload a higher amount, and I'm a talker, so I don't want to upload some tiny videos. Maybe I will do some little ones, like some shorts or whatever, but that's down the road. So anyway, until next time, guys, please like, share, subscribe, talk to your friends. I mean, find some interest in where your food comes from, and not just where your food comes from, but how could you build something to grow that food if you didn't have it or didn't have a store that you could buy it from. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot, and have a good one.